Today, I can finally show off just a little bit about two projects that I had a big hand in, and I'm so excited. Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and I was the lead designer for all of the Doctor Who Commander decks and the lead vision designer for Commander Masters and its Commander decks before handing it off to Brian Hawley and Corey Bowen, respectively. Today, I'm going to tell you a bit about these two sets and even show you some cards. Ready? Let's go. One day at work, I was told that we were going to be making Doctor Who Commander decks. And at first, I laughed. I thought somebody was pulling a prank on me. Most of my coworkers know that Doctor Who is one of my favorite shows. And in fact, it's been one of the most influential stories on my life. And probably my wardrobe too, for better or worse. But yeah, the project was real, and I was going to lead it. It was really a dream come true, bringing the set to life, and it's actually a great fit for Magic in a lot of ways. Just like how Magic is about visiting different worlds with every set with its range of characters and stories, Doctor Who explores different worlds in every episode with new characters and villains alike. Okay, so here's some hints at what you can expect. We're doing 4 Commander decks. Now, one of the challenges we had to solve for early in design was how we were going to split these up. We tried all kinds of configurations, things like a Doctor deck, a Dalek deck, a Cybermen deck, and a Companions deck, for example, but it didn't quite feel right. Until eventually, we really asked ourselves the question, how do fans of Doctor Who split themselves up? And it's by one of the most well-known questions in all of the Doctor Who fandom. Who's your Doctor? Fans really identify with different eras of the show, and that's exactly how we did it. Break apart the decks by eras of the Doctor. Let me walk through what I mean. The first deck I'll talk about here is Blast from the Past, a white, blue, green deck. This deck is focused on the first 8 Doctors, the classic era of the show, and their companions, items, stories, and more. The face commanders here are fan favorites, with the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith. Wait, what do I mean by saying there are 2 face cards? Well, Doctor Who is defined not just by the Doctor, but by the friends he travels with along the way. Not being able to play both the Doctor and Companion as your commander just felt wrong. So that's exactly what we let you do. And no, it's not using the Ikoria Companion keyword either. Each of these characters has a new mechanic called Doctor's Companion. It reads Doctor's Companion. You can have 2 commanders if the other is the Doctor. This lets you play both the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith as your commander. But of course, Doctor Who is all about wild antics in space and time. So if you want to grab a different companion or Doctor to mix and match them, you totally can. Every Doctor in these decks is 2-color, and the companions are all monocolor. So, for example, the 4th Doctor is blue-green, and Sarah Jane Smith is white. Each deck has several companions too. Let's move on to the next deck. This blue-red-white deck is named after a truly beloved quote from the show, timey-wimey.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah, I've seen this bit before.
It focuses on the relaunch of the show in 2005, so it has the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctors and their stories. The face cards are the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler, with the 10th Doctor being blue-red and Rose Tyler being white. The third deck, a blue-red-green deck named Paradox Power, focuses on the newest era of the show, with the 12th and 13th Doctors. I'll mention that I know we have a new Doctor coming soon, and don't worry, we didn't forget about him, but more on that at a later date. The face card here is the 13th Doctor, who is blue and green, with Yasmin Khan as her red companion. Now, what of the 4th deck? Isn't that all the eras? Well, there is one very important other thing, the mini villains of Doctor Who. In many cases, just as iconic as the Doctor themselves, that's what the 4th deck is. The blue, red, black Masters of Evil deck takes the most notorious villains of Doctor Who and a few deep cuts you probably don't all recognize and puts them all together in the same deck. Now, this deck only uses a single commander, but trust me when I say that he packs plenty of a punch. It's the creator of the Daleks himself, Davros. Okay, so those are the 4 decks. There's also the collector boosters, which have a number of cool things, such as awesome alternate treatments and art for some of the cards, such as the 13th Doctor here. What else can you expect? Well, I have 3 pretty cool things to show you. All right, number 1. Early in design, multiple people pitched me the idea of basic lands that showed the TARDIS in locations. And the idea was so beloved, it stuck all the way through. There are 2 cycles of basic lands in the product, and here's one of them, masterfully done by Svetlin Velinov. They're gorgeous. And if you have a really keen eye, the lands depict the TARDIS in a place they actually traveled in the show. Can you identify any of the places? Doctor Who fans, drop your guesses in the comments below. Okay, on to number 2. And this is one of my favorite bits in the whole set. Early on, designer Chris Mooney came to me with an idea for a single card. It was a saga that told the story of a particular episode of the show. I loved this design so much that we tried more and people fell in love with them, so they remained all the way through. Now, Doctor Who has many iconic and beloved episodes. The one you're seeing here represents the Parting of the Ways, the final 9th Doctor episode. And wow, the art on these is stunning. Now, here's something fun for all you fans to speculate on. Across the 4 decks, there are 19 sagas. Each Doctor gets 1 saga from their run, an episode that was loved and made for a great card. That brings us to 15, counting both the Fugitive Doctor and the War Doctor. Of course, the villains couldn't be left out of the fun either, and there are 4 sagas featuring iconic Doctor Who villains as well. I can't wait to see your guesses for which episodes get made into sagas. If you have them, drop them below. Okay, and the final thing in this section before we go on to Commander Masters. One more big thing. Doctor Who is about traveling across space and time. So doesn't it make sense your game would too? Before the team even started, I pitched that Planechase would be a perfect fit for Doctor Who. It's the kind of thing we would have invented for this product if it didn't already exist. It was a slam dunk. And everyone agreed. So each deck has 10 Planechase cards. And today, I'm going to show you one of them. Check out the Lux Foundation Library. This is from the 2-parter Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, a fan favorite. The Doctor visits a world that's a huge library. Awesome, lots of card draw for all. Less good is the fact that they're pursued by the Vashta Nerada, moving shadows that will pull you into the shadows to devour you, and in some cases, take over your spacesuit. So the return of the literal shadow mechanic as a keyword counter was a perfect fit. Count the shadows, my friends. I can't wait to talk about these more over the rest of the year. It really was a huge passion project for me and the design team, and I'm excited for you to check it out. But all right, on to Commander Masters. So Commander Masters is divided into 2 sections. The main set, which is all reprints, and its 4 commander decks, which each have some new cards. We previously revealed the themes of these 4 decks: Abzan Enchantress, Jeskai Planeswalkers, 0 color Eldrazi, and 5 color Slivers. And today, we're showing you the face cards. Let's kick things off with Enchantress. What makes an Enchantress deck black? Well, its interaction with the graveyard. On top of the typical Enchantress fare, you'll find this deck wanting to get enchantments into its graveyard so it can bring them back as 3/3s. It also grants all your enchantment creatures menace naturally too, as a nice bonus. Up next is our Planeswalker deck, featuring a character I truly cannot believe we got into a commander deck, Commodore Guff. This Planeswalker historian is completely wild. In the Apocalypse novel, the heroes are losing to the Phyrexians, and he basically is like, wait, that's not how the story's supposed to go, and goes back and rewrites the battle so they win. Yeah. Anyway, he's awesome, and here he is leading the Planeswalker deck. He's great at accelerating your other Planeswalkers, both in terms of how quick you can cast them and their loyalty, and then that -3 is excellent for doling out damage and drawing cards once you have a board presence. Third, it's time for one of the most requested decks in Commander history, a 0 color Eldrazi deck. It's finally here for the first time, and with the face card, Zuladok Voidgorger. This gives all your huge colorless spells double cascade. Eldrazi, yes of course, but all call out artifacts also apply. There's certainly new Eldrazi in this deck, but there's also a lot of other cool stuff in the colorless well, and I can't wait for you to see it. And finally, one of the most popular creature types in all of Magic, Slivers. Sliver Gravemother gives all your Slivers Encore, a commander ability for a commander Sliver. One of the challenges decks built around creature types always have in Commander is having enough gas in the long game, and this makes sure you can still have big turns even if you keep getting swept. Imagine you have, say, a Sinew Sliver in your graveyard. Well, suddenly you can bring it back and grant +3/+3 to your whole team for the turn. Bam! And because the legend rule doesn't apply to it, you can encore it out of your graveyard to attack each opponent for 6, plus bring back other Slivers in the same turn. Now that's what you can expect out of the commander decks. Which new commander are you most excited to play? Let me know in the comments down below. The main set also has some great reprints we announced today, including personal tutor, finally back after being locked away in Portal since 1997. A very cool returning card. This was all shown off at MagicCon Minneapolis today, and you can find a rundown of everything, including some other pieces like how Claim the Ring works in Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth, and a sneak peek at Wilds of Eldraine over on dailymtg.com. Go check it out. So, what that I showed you today are you most excited for? Tell me below. I'll talk with you again soon. In the meantime, may you enjoy your adventures in time and space. You got this. This new form of discard then draw was codified into Red. In the same set as Wild Guess, Magic 2013, Rummaging Goblin showed up as Red's form of looter and gave the ability the nickname Rummaging, and that card has been iterated on many times since. We had done it. We had found a successful path. Kind of. These kinds of cards are all fine and good, but if you'll notice,